Hello, this is Jeremiah Schultz. I'm here with Hosmer Chiropractic Health, and I'm here today to show you kind of a building block of the cook squat or just any squat. If you're a person who struggles with getting depth out of your squat, I released the cook squat video. We released the cook squat video the other day, showing you kind of how to pull yourself into a squat with good form and kind of getting the knees driven out, getting the spine in a good position, getting the upper back in a good position. The cook squat is excellent for increasing a person's range in the squat and also just overall strength throughout the body. But this here is addressing kind of the depth issue we see a lot of times with cook squat. So you'd want to do this movement with that squat or just in general to help improve your squat abilities. So the biggest thing we see, one of the biggest things we see with squat, with the inability to squat deep, is the pelvic tilt at the bottom of the squat. That's basically this. If I'm to just do a normal squat and I come down and I lose my hips and they kind of tuck underneath me, that is, it brings to bear a bunch of different problems with the lower back, especially if you're doing a loaded squat. And it just doesn't it's not good squat mechanics. You won't be squatting for very long like that. And it's kind of changing the dynamic from being a leg exercise to like a low back exercise. I would hate to say exercise, more of a low back problem, right? So what we want to do is build a squat in a way that's going to build up the correct pattern and not allow us to drop into a bad pattern. And that's this here. So what we'll do is we find a wall, and you're going to set your feet in your squat stance, which should be about feet just outside shoulder width apart. So for me, looking just, wide like so. And then toes either 0 degrees, which is going to be straight, or anywhere from 0 to 15 degrees of turnout, depending on where your knees track. The idea is we want the knees to kind of track in line with the toes. So do that over here. I'm going to move myself close to the wall, about a foot away from the wall, raise my arms straight overhead. And the reason I'm doing this is because I'm actually using my, I would hate to say bad shoulder range of motion, but I'm using my shoulder tightness or the range of motion of my shoulders and my upper back to get my torso nice and tall as I go into the squat. So bring my arms up overhead. Then I'm going to squat down, just like so, sitting back into my heels, and opening my knees up and sliding down this wall. If this is as far as you can go before you lose your hips, then I want you to stop there. But the great thing about this exercise is that you cannot go further if you're doing this correctly than you actually can with good form. Because as soon as I get to a point where my hips want to tuck, that pushes me away from the wall. So I can only slide down the wall as far as I can go while maintaining good form in that position. So for me, I've developed that to the point of being able to squat pretty decently far, maintaining a good neutral pelvic position, right? But if I need to go any further than this, I start to bend my arms and I can tuck my hips. So we want to make sure that those arms stay straight and up, and that will throw your thoracic spine into a little bit of extension or a neutral position, and also lock out your lumbar spine in a neutral to slightly extended position, which helps maintain a more of an anterior or neutral pelvic tilt, which maybe wouldn't be the way we're squatting 100% of the time, but it's at least going to help stretch us into a position that allows us to squat better, loaded or just with an air squat. So again, get yourself close to a wall, hands up overhead, squat back with weight into the heels and drive those knees out. Sit back as far as you can without compromising arm position. And get as low as you can. You'll feel a lot of these muscles back here flexing to kind of keep that extension of the lower back. And you'll also feel some stretching in the hips and the adductors and a lot of the muscles that kind of inhibit your squat general day to day. The other thing you'll notice is you want to breathe when you're doing this, because as you can tell, I'm already out of breath, and that was just a few movements, because you're doing so many, it's like kind of a static hold at the bottom, and there's so many muscles flexing, and at the same time there's a lot of muscles stretching, and that takes a lot out of you. So work into this, do about 3 to 5 slow reps, getting as low as you can go and sitting in the bottom position for several seconds. So again, we're going to go down, maintaining that depth, flex your core, keep that back flat, hang out here in this bottom position and get comfortable. Drive those knees out, continue to get depth, those arms straight. And then as you progress in this exercise, you can start getting even closer to the wall with your arms up and going as deep as you possibly can there. Especially if you're a person who is trying to get better with an overhead squat, getting closer to the wall really helps that torso position and scapular position to allow you to open up and do an overhead squat in the future, do that better. And allows you to have more depth in that position. The other thing you can work on is also when you're squatting and you're trying to build strength in this position and not just use the wall as a kind of a crutch, you can squat down, attempting, relatively close, maybe not as close as I just did, but attempting to keep the hands away from the wall with that full squat. And that also builds a lot of posterior shoulder strength, a lot of spinal extension strength, and just builds on what we're already building on. So keep all those things in mind. Again, we're looking for 3 to 5 reps of this wall facing squat in one of those variations. Start further away from the wall, keep those arms straight, squat as deep as you can go without losing your pelvis or your arms overhead or torso position, and then slowly progress through this, and you'll notice that your cook squat will get better and your normal squat will get better. So thank you for watching.